just sit here, we could just chat.
That's the idea, right, John?
Well, no, we're going to talk with these guys. What are you guys up to? You guys like PayU? Do you know what PayU is? Yes? You guys just got lulled into Polish just now.
There you go.
And now you have to deal with two Brooklyn boys, and we're gonna tear you up. All right, Mario.
Let's do it.
Let's do this thing. So, introduce yourself. Explain. You worked at MasterCard. You worked at PayPal, and now you have your own little startup, right?
I wish I could say PayU was a little startup and it was my own. But yeah, so first of all, let me say thank you, Christian and the Impact team. Thanks for organizing this event. Thanks for inviting us. It's great to be here. Yeah, so I've been at PayU now and Naspers for about a year. PayU is not exactly a startup, although it's an interesting compilation of different companies in different countries with a unique position in emerging markets mostly, or high growth markets as we call them. You can't really call Poland emerging anymore. But you know, in Poland, I think most of you should know PayU. If you don't, please come talk to me or the team after.
He'll give you a special discount, like 50Z off your next Allegro purchase.
Absolutely, yes. Especially for the holidays, Christmas shopping. PayU is a unique position in emerging markets. Like I said, we're in about 16 markets. We are leader in places like Poland, Latin America, India, high growth markets like Russia and Turkey. We like the difficult markets like Africa. And part of the story of PayU has been here in Poland growing up with Allegro. So Allegro, part of the Naspers Group, has been the hallmark of e-commerce and e-commerce growth here. And with that, PayU has grown up as well, and we tend to serve merchants for e-commerce and mobile payments across all of our markets. We also invest in fintech. And we started investing in fintech before fintech was really a buzzword. Mm-hmm. With Naspers behind us, Naspers is, by the way, one of the largest technology investors in the world, specifically focused around emerging markets. And with them and with their capacity capability, we invest not just in payments, but also across a multitude of fintech opportunities, especially around financial services in consumer credit, SMB financing, digital banking, and so forth. All in the context of building a set of financial services that can serve our merchants and our merchants' consumers better in all of our markets.
Okay. Are there any wacky stories where you had to, like, I don't know, transfer money into cowrie shells or something to get the money transferred? Do you have any like weird rules that you have to follow? Because some guy, yeah.
I can make shit up, but stuff up. But interestingly, you know, we are in a few markets that have currency controls, and we go through all the hoops to make sure that that happens seamlessly. Nigeria is one of them where getting money out is difficult. So we're looking at all kinds of new technologies to help us with that,
like a motorcycle,
including Bitcoin.
Motorcycle across the border?
We'll not talk about that, John. Thank you. Next question.
All right, good. So what's going to happen? So India and China are doing a lot of interesting stuff right now in the monetary world, and the European Union is trying to streamline a lot of this stuff. So over in India and China, they're basically trying to move things to a more digital realm, and here they're really digitizing. So what does payments look like in the next 10 years? Where do you guys fit as a middleware in that equation? Where do you guys fit when you can address a bank automatically, right? Programmatically.
Yeah, very interesting times in India, China, but not just there, right? Here in Europe as well, with PSD2 coming, lots of interesting implications for us and all the payments and fintech players in the market. I mean, India, frankly, is a bit off the handle, to be honest, with trying to throw everything to get rid of cash. For my MasterCard friends, this is right music to your ears. It's the motto: get rid of cash, war on cash. We're there too, right? So for us, actually, all of this innovation around, or either imposing or removing regulation to get rid of cash is all good, because we look at the growth of e-commerce, the growth of internet payments and online payments as a good thing. And frankly, for PayU, we are in a unique position again because we play locally in all of our markets. In India, we're by far the number one player, close to 50% market share for online payments. And there, frankly, we connect to the banks directly. We use the new UPI system directly. Innovation is in our DNA there. And all of the changes that happen locally that can make us even more competitive locally compared to the global players are good news for us. Same thing here. In China, we don't exactly play as PayU. Naspers has a big investment there in Tencent, and there the regulatory and how should I say, an innovation regime is quite different, right? I don't think you can transpose much from China to the rest of the world.
Could a small payment startup, a small payments gateway, could they do what you do? Could they get inroads into India? Do they need a big banking partner? What are the possibilities for somebody who wanted to do something similar but wanted to try the same route?
Look, the fintech space is obviously hot, right?
Yeah.
There's a ton of money, especially in India, going crazy investing into fintech in all kinds of startups. You know, payments is an interesting game. It's a scale game, right? It's a game of you can't really get a lot of traction without scale, and attaining that scale locally is difficult, especially as we have some pretty strong local partners in the banking systems, regulations, all of that plays together, which makes it a bit difficult in payments for new startups. However, in the broader space of fintech, I think there's quite a bit of possibility and opportunity. I mean, more and more around the world, you can do banking without being a bank, right? You can rent a bank. You can certainly do quite a few services and serve consumers and merchants in a new way without really being a bank by partnering with banks. We do that too as PayU. We partner with pretty much every bank in all the markets that we're in. And we look to engage the new startups that use technology in new ways. For example, lending, right? Consumer lending has been a hot space. In the US, gone through their ups and downs with cycles, but they're using technology and new authentication methods and data sources is something that banks haven't really gotten their head around yet. So being able to leverage that, not just here in Poland, but across the world, is something that we're really focused on. This is an area where we see a lot of innovation and startup the community.
What should a startup, I guess this was the startup corner over here, what should a startup be, what problems do you guys have that you need solved?
Well, we look at the problems that our merchants and consumers have, right? So one is security. So that's constantly on the minds of everyone. So better authentication methods and tightening that and merging security and convenience has been, you know, the past few years a lot of talk about that, but not a lot of real practical solutions. So on that one, please help us and help the entire community. MasterCard and Visa have a lot to do to help us get there as well. The other one is frankly around access to money. There are 2.5–3 billion people around the world that are either unbanked or underbanked that would like access to money and aren't getting it from the financial institutions, right? So this is where our focus is in partnering or potentially looking at investing in companies that are doing new ways of consumer lending, SMB financing, where we can help grow that entire set of new consumers or new businesses that are starting up.
And along that same lines, is blockchain and Bitcoin eventually going to destroy your entire industry and put you out of business? And all the MasterCard guys too? Just predict your own death. Let's see.
Yeah, thank you. Let's say.
How are you going to use it? blockchain?
Look, I think there's been a lot of speculation on what happens with Bitcoin and blockchain and all the other cryptocurrencies. To us, it's an interesting space, so we try and stay very close to it. We've invested in a couple of blockchain/Bitcoin startups to stay close to the space. My prediction is blockchain and Bitcoin and Ripple and so forth will fall flat on their face on consumer payments. However, there's a bunch of huge opportunities on cross-border, especially B2B or bank transfer movements. Trillions of dollars being moved very inefficiently today, right? If we talk about SWIFT and 50-year-old technology there, massive space for disruption, and I think blockchain can help a lot there. I think it can help take cost out and introduce a lot of efficiencies and security. So I see it happening there, although a lot of the speculation and using Bitcoin as asset, kind of a speculative asset class, similar to
a tulip.
A tulip or a pork belly on the Chicago Stock Exchange. That's not really helping the blockchain community.
Will SWIFT allow itself to be taken out? I mean, where I joked about you guys are going to be destroyed, but SWIFT presumably should be destroyed. Will it allow itself? Can it change quick enough to avoid that?
Remains to be seen. I would love to see that happen. It is so inefficient to move money across countries, especially in large blocks, that it's just itching to be disrupted. However, there's a lot of money being made there, right? So a lot of big interests. I'm not sure how quickly that will get disrupted.
Okay.
But you were starting to see it, right? So big banks, even governments, starting to adopt that technology. Goldman Sachs and others trying to adopt the blockchain technology to have more efficient money movements. It's starting, right?
Okay, what's the next up-and-coming area for e-payments? Is pretty much the world saturated? Are we basically done with spreading out?
I don't think so. I think, that's why I'm excited about the opportunity at PayU and what we have at Naspers, because I think in the developed markets, the chips are kind of placed on the table, although you still see quite a bit of movement. In the developing markets or the high-growth markets, the story is just beginning. Which is where, again, I think we're in a fantastic position to write the book on what's going to happen in the future. I think a lot of it has to do with moving away from cash. I mean, cash on delivery, even in this country, in Poland, is 30–40% for e-commerce. In places like Russia or Romania, it's 80–90%. So moving away from cash and digitizing those payments is a massive opportunity ahead of us. And of course, then you have e-commerce that is, here it's about 4%. In other kind of Central Eastern European countries, not to even talk about Africa or Southeast Asia, it's in the very low single-digit percentage of consumer payments. Just the natural growth of that is
Blue sky, put your helmet on, get out there.
Just hold on to that rocket.
Spread
Absolutely.
the PayU gospel. All right, thank you very much, Mario. Hope everybody enjoyed this. You're going to be hanging out here for a little while.
I will, absolutely. Look forward to speaking to all of you who especially don't know PayU.
All right, thanks.
Thanks.
Perfect.